Welcome to Whispering Loudly, the award-winning Workshop Whisperer podcast, as featured by Apple, with Rachel Evans, the #1 automotive business coach in the aftermarket, thanks to titanium sponsor Mechanic Desk and gold sponsor Podium.
Whispering Loudly is the Workshop Whisperer podcast. Hi, I'm producer Mel, and here with Rachel Evans. We've got James Cooper on today. He's a filmmaker and video storytelling coach. Very cool. Growing up in Hollywood, California, what a time that would be. He's been in the entertainment industry since he was 5 years old. He currently has a program called Powerful Video, helping business owners get clients with video and cinematic storytelling. And it sounds like he's very qualified for the job. James, hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, my pleasure.
So, in addition to that amazing intro, what else would you like our listeners of Whispering Loudly to know about you?
Yeah, I grew up on a soundstage. My father was a television director, directed many TV shows you probably have heard of, like Gilligan's Island, The Brady Bunch, I Dream of Jeannie, All in the Family, lots of different shows. He directed for over 30, well, actually more than 40 years of television. And so when I grew up, I was taken to the set after school every day. I got to sit in his chair and watch him direct, watch him work. And so he pretty much gave me my love for film and television and storytelling. Yeah, well, I was 5 years old and I got my very first camera. I was a little disappointed. I thought I was getting a Battlestar Galactica ray gun. Instead, he gave me my first film camera. And little did I know it would start me on a journey that would lead me to where I am today.
Tell us a little bit more about James Cooper Films. When did you get started and what are you all about?
Yeah, I've been an actor. I've been a producer. I've been a director of short films. And when I started working in commercial casting, television commercials, I was obsessed with commercials as a kid because I loved short form filmmaking, how to be able to tell a story in 30 seconds and get a client to want to buy your product or service. I was obsessed with that. And so even as a teenager, I used to record commercials on TV, and then I would watch the Clio Awards, which for those who don't know, the Clio Awards is like the Academy Awards for commercials. So I was a commercial nerd. And when I was working in casting, it was the first time that I linked marketing with commercials. And I had to learn from the scripts. A lot of them were horrible, but the scripts kind of taught me copywriting for businesses and how to tell a story in 30 seconds and move people to want to buy the product or service.
Amazing. Many of our listeners, all of our listeners are in auto repair, okay? So not the type of industry where you're automatically thinking about film and video. I was wondering if you could help share with our listening audience why video has become so important in marketing your business.
I think it's just the world we live in now. I think almost over 90% of all information that is consumed on the internet is video based. All you have to do is open up Facebook or Instagram or any media platform. YouTube obviously started it, but if you look at any social media platform, video is the dominant form of getting people information. And it doesn't matter what business that you're in. It doesn't matter if, whether you're in law or real estate or auto repair or anything, video is going to be able to tell the story. You've heard the saying, a picture says 1,000 words. Well, video can tell millions of words in a very short amount of time. It's all about moving the viewer to want to connect with what it is that you have to offer.
If you're a novice at using video to promote your business, what are maybe 3 tips for those looking to get started with this?
I think the biggest thing is don't worry about the product at first. I know that sounds strange, but it's like people connect with people. And so if all things are equal, most auto repair, auto body, anything automotive, you're not trying to get them to connect with the service. They know what they need. They know what their pain points are. That's one thing that's great about an auto repair service or auto body service is that you're always going to have automobiles that get dents and you're always going to have engines that break down. It's a great business. You're always going to have clients available. So it's not about connecting with that. It's about connecting with the people. I always look at a business and I'm much more interested in the people who run the business and what are their stories when it comes to automobiles. What was their first car? Tell me a story about, the first car you owned, or when you started getting interested in working on cars. Everybody has a different story. And I think that's much more interesting to connect the viewer or the listener out there with what it is that you offer. People connect with people, and they're going to be much more inclined to work with somebody that they connect with.
And I think that aligns nicely with the message that we're always telling our auto repair shop owner clients is the people that come to you as an independent, as opposed to taking their car to the dealership, they actually want more of a personal relationship or experience with the owners of the business. So helping them understand what it is that drives your passion for the industry or for owning your shop, super important to get out there, right?
Absolutely. Otherwise, all you're left with is price. If the only thing that people can distinguish one repair place from another is who can do it cheaper, well, then you have a commoditized business and there's really nothing that's unique and distinguishes you from anybody else. But if somebody heard the story about how, your dad taught you all about cars and telling the story about the first car that you got into, or the first time that you had to repair your own car, or whatever the story is, first time you saw this car and it became an obsession with you, it becomes much more interesting because now we're connecting with a human being. We're connecting with a person. The one thing that I tell everybody, doesn't matter what business they're in, is that nobody has your story. Doesn't matter how many people do what you do. There's only one you, and your story is like your fingerprint. Nobody has it. And because nobody has it, it's one of the most valuable things you have to be able to attract the clients you want.
I love that. Your story is like your fingerprint. Nobody else has it. I think that's wonderful.
Want to find out how the Workshop Whisperer team can put your auto repair shop on the path to business success? Head to www.workshopwhisperer.com/whispering loudly to claim your free workshop success session with the team.
There's another way to use video in our auto repair shops, and that's in the customer service process. So videoing what a car's issue is so that, you get to better explain it to the customer, updating on a vehicle that's being serviced. Can you give us a rundown on why personalized video messaging can enhance the customer experience?
Yeah, I think that you can look at it from different ways. You can look at creating videos that explain the process. There are some clients that will feel more at ease on what's being done to the car to help fix it. How long is the process going to take? What's going to be involved? A range of pricing. I mean, there can be videos that kind of explain, if you were to look at, you could create a video on the major problems that the cars have and how they get repaired. Now, I wouldn't go out and just make 40 videos. I don't know everything about cars, but I'm sure there are certain problems that are common with cars. I'm sure that there are certain categories of repair that are very common that they do a lot, maybe more than others. And so whether it's a regular tune-up or whether there's something that breaks down with the engine, there's also a process, a standard operating procedure, SOP, that happens when you're fixing that problem. And so I would look at it, rather than go out and try to make a million videos with your iPhone, I would start making it based on the hierarchy of what are the most common problems that customers come in for, and start making an inventory of videos that you think will help the client or customer understand what's going on with their car and what needs to be done to make sure that it's repaired. You always have to remember, a coach and mentor of mine always said, you want to sell the flowers, not the manure. And what I mean by that is that a lot of people just want to know how soon it's going to be repaired, a range of costs, and just you're focused on the result that you're going to get. Always remember that. Most videos that talk about the process go over the client's head. And so most clients just want to know what is going to be done and how soon. And so I don't know if it's necessary. You have to look at your client and know your customer, but how much detail do you need to go in when the client just wants to get the result? So I would focus on any type of explainer video that just basically puts the client at ease that their car will be taken care of. I think that's the main thing, is that always focus on the result of the customer. And that should be the main focus of the video.
And when we're talking about videos for marketing, is there an ideal length for those so that, we get the message across and the viewer stays with us for the whole thing?
Again, videos are typically as long as they need to be. So I know that's not the best answer, but what I do notice is that certain platforms have an engagement time frame that works best. YouTube happens to be a little bit longer. So if you are going to use videos and put them on YouTube, they can afford to be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, even 7 minutes in length. The reason being is that people go to YouTube to gather information. So they're inclined to be on the platform longer watching the video. If you look at things like Facebook time frame, typically about a 2 to 3 minute video is more than enough. I like to keep my videos for clients for Facebook usually under 2.5 minutes, because again, we have a shorter attention span on Facebook. We're scrolling more on Facebook. And then Instagram, even more so. If you look at Reels, if you look at TikTok, we've gotten into this 30 seconds or less focus when it comes to those platforms. So it's easy to say shorter is better because we like to consume micro content. But if you're doing an explainer video where people are searching, how do I, and then your video comes up in YouTube where you're giving more detailed information, then that is okay to have a longer video because people are actually searching for the answer.
Great distinctions. What would be your number one piece of advice when it comes to attracting a loyal following through using video?
I think that we've gotten used to the world of edutainment. We've become accustomed to edutainment, finding ways to educate while entertaining. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels have really turned our followers and our audience members into consuming very short, entertaining, engaging videos. And so I think that there needs to be a balance for any business of sharing not just your products and services, but also the more side of your business. So sometimes video posts that are, entertaining. It could be everybody chilling, having Starbucks with the car up on the lift. It could be something that allows the audience and the viewer into their world a little bit more. Maybe it's somebody just going round robin and sharing like, what's your favorite car? Or it could be like, how fast can Jeremy change the tire? Like a little bit of levity, a little bit of fun. I think those are things that also will connect viewers to people rather than just the service. So the best advice I have is that look at what people on social media, look at what makes you stop and watch. Look at the things that make you stop the scroll, because like attracts like. And so more so than you would think. And so the things that make you stop and watch are likely things that are going to make some of your best customers stop and watch. So artists are thieves, and I like to think of video as an art form. So look on the platforms and look for influencers and people who are doing things. It doesn't even have to be automotive. It could be anything. They could be dental hygienists. They could be, business coaches. But the style of how they do their videos, see how you can borrow and steal ideas from them and bring it into your business.
And James, you've shared such great advice with us on the episode today. How can our listeners get more tips and advice? How can we follow you on social? How can we connect if we'd like more info?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on Instagram at James Cooper Films, just all one word, James Cooper Films. And you can also find me on Facebook at James Cooper Films. I have a free Facebook community that you can find me by going to James Cooper Films. You can find me there. And the best advice that I would have is to just get started. Video ideas are great, but video ideas that are actually recorded and posted do a lot better. So you don't really need, those of you who are nervous of getting started or it just seems overwhelming, just look at somebody like Gary Vee or any of these influencers. They all started with a video, and the first one is going to suck. And that's just the way it is. But, get the sucky ones out of the way. because you're going to get better. Video 5 is going to be better than video 1, and video 10 is going to be better than video 5. And you really don't need anything more than your smartphone. That's all you need, and you can start creating videos that attract your ideal clients.
James Cooper, thank you so much for joining us on Whispering Loudly today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for listening to Whispering Loudly, the award-winning Workshop Whisperer podcast, as featured by Apple with Rachel Evans, the #1 automotive business coach in the aftermarket. Thanks to Titanium sponsor Mechanic Desk and gold sponsor Podium. Want to find out how the Workshop Whisperer team can put your auto repair shop on the path to business success? Head to www.workshopwhisperer.com/whispering loudly to claim your free workshop success session with the team.